What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Rule Zero. I'm your host today, Paul Bauer. Do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications because I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I don't know if you knew that. And then, guys, for the love of God, please sound off in the chat today. We want to hear from you, and don't be stingy with those super chats because that pays the bills. Jack Napier, what's going on with you, man? What's new with you?
Can't complain. Released a new essay this morning, Sexualization of Brotherhood, how male friendships are no longer allowed in fiction and or media. So please go check that out. Had a show with Rob last night, and that's about it. Working hard on the writing, working hard on the Substack. So yeah, that's about it.
Sweet. Kyle, our latest member, has been officially jumped into the gang. What's new with you, man?
Nothing really. Getting over a little bit of a chest cold. I'm still all congested, which sucks. Old lady and I got the camper out today, but playing guitars and fixing cars, fortunately.
Sweet. Ryan Stone, Daily Wire correspondent.
Oh, I was going to have the Rhodesian and training one. Oh, no, there it is. Daily Rhodesian and training in the bottom.
You got them both today.
Yeah, I like it. It's the quiet time now. The book is out. The book is doing well. I'm starting a new one. Gone from contemporary fiction to, what do they call it? Cyberpunk. So yeah, that's it for me. Beyond that, it's almost spring. We got a new prime minister. He's a central banker globalist. Skip the whole conspiracy, go straight to the guy running the things, you know?
Oh, nice.
There you go. Just skip the middleman.
Yeah.
Cappy.
Morning. I'm in South Dakota avoiding my mother-in-law. My new book came out, Zero World Problems. And it's available on paperback and Kindle. Audio will be coming out soon. And if you want to make practical progress in your life that doesn't involve money, like actually increase your standards of living, there you go. It's post-materialist economic standards of living. And I'm tired. There
you go. And then Ray is joining us as a guest today. Graybeard Actual on TikTok and Instagram and wherever else. What's going on, Ray? What's new with you, man?
Nothing is new, just putting out the social media stuff, which I don't actually like, by the way. We got into this talking about before, but I got into this by accident. And I do a lot of writing on the Substack. That's been doing pretty well. I'm very happy with that. Trying to finish up a book now. I should have the actual writing done in a couple of weeks. The book is just really a reflection on everything that's kind of developed over the last couple of years with the social media stuff, which is mainly masculinity. And I've made some posts on this, but it's mainly just about masculinity, the war on masculinity. But then I get all these guys in the comments saying, yeah, I'm doing all that. I'm at the gym. I'm working on a career, business, whatever, but the women. And so it's a little more, there's a little more of the intersectional dynamics in it than I would have planned on. But yeah, that should be done in a couple of weeks. But other than that, just trying to grind it out.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. My first book, it took me 1.5 years to finally write that. How is it taking you a lot less time to do that?
You know, the writing itself goes pretty quick when I can get to it, but I'm still an operations manager during the day, deadlines and pressure and all that. Come home, try to make content on a nearly daily basis. I do consulting calls at least 2 or 3 times a week, so on down the line. It's really more of a matter of just finding the time for it.
Yeah. That's the crux, isn't it? All right, guys, we are talking about what Love is Blind can teach men about politics, frame, and attraction. This was going around on Twitter this past week. I found it pretty fascinating, but I don't watch this stupid show. Ryan, does your girl watch this kind of stupid shit?
She does, but even this season, she was like, I'm done. These people are just stupid. It's very clearly AstroTurf.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
All
the whole I left him because of black, like he didn't like his opinion on Black Lives Matter. Like, come on, bro.
Jeez.
Right. So that's what the clip that I saw and that was going viral showed. Let me bring that up here. We're probably going to get, a copyright strike or whatever.
do we have to watch it again?
Well,
Yes.
just a couple of minutes.
It has become Rule Zero's unavoidable life goal to make you suffer as much as possible. You know how much...
Jack, you're coming in hot, man.
Oh, that bad? Hold up. But do you know how much views I got with you suffering in that intro? That better?
It's
Yes.
a little bit better. Yeah.
There we go. But I got so many views and likes and comments on that intro of you between those two girls. Everybody loved it.
That is a good one. That is a good one. All right. Yeah. Here we go. This will make Cappy freak out.
I love you so much. But I've always wanted a partner to be on the same wavelength. And so today I can't.
Really?
Dude's jaw's
Sorry,
on the
but I don't
floor.
want that to be misunderstood. I still love you and everything about you is amazing. And I care about you so much.
Can we pause it?
I care about you too.
Yeah.
These shows still exist? This is still a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently.
You know,
Okay.
the West, okay, no, the West needs to go away. No, we are not evolutionarily adapting here. We all need to just go. This is an extinct branch of humanity. This is what we do. We land people on the moons, and this shit is still going on 25 years later.
There's a little bit of an echo there. Is that
Nuke.
Nuke? Mute Nuke for a second while he figures that out.
But okay, first red flag. First of all, she says partner. There you go.
Right.
Like,
there you
right
go.
there. Right
She's
there.
done.
Right there.
Immediately.
Gone. Next. And then the whole shtick of I love you, but I'm not in love with you is practically what she's saying.
Basically, yeah.
I am. You know, I am
love you
hot,
so
Kyle.
much.
I know.
I know I want to stay with you and keep growing our relationship if you'll let me.
If you'll let me. Now
If
he's
you'll
begging.
let
We'll
me.
see.
Oh,
We'll see.
We'll talk about that. Okay.
All right, you guys get the gist. But basically, what she allegedly was dumping him for there was because he didn't align with her values on Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQRS community, and she just felt like, oh wow, I can't do this with this guy, and so she dumps him, right? And so you might think, well, that's good. I mean, my man, he's sticking to his values. He's not changing himself. Like, it's good. Let her go. And that's probably an accurate statement, but that's not really what was going on, because if you watch an earlier clip from before that, that's not what he was saying. Clearly, like she's brought this up numerous times, and he's basically just agreeing with her and like, yeah, these are my values too. Would you shut the fuck up and like, let's have sex? And he's basically falling into her frame, right? That's the way it looks like to me.
yeah. I mean, that looks like complete and total capitulation to her frame with the way that he was going about the conversation, especially like when they were on the altar and he said, if you'll let me. Like, so you have to get permission from her in this situation. Not good.
Right. It's not good at all.
Oh yeah, and Claire, you'll like this. They're from Minnesota, so they're your people.
I heard they
here we
were
go.
from Minnesota. I never saw the video, but this is all bullshit and acting, but they are doing very good at being Minnesotans. The woman's a bitch and the guy's a putz. I mean, you're not allowed in Minnesota unless you're a putz male and a girl boss chickie babe. So yes, that they got down.
They got
I
that down right.
I remember
like
having
Aaron
a
said, it's obviously acting, but that actually does reflect a lot of what guys are doing. So is it so much of them just trying to pander to the female viewership, or are they also trying to send the signal to men, at least ostensibly, this is what you're supposed to do. Agree with her, be in line, and maybe the message is this guy wasn't in line enough with her woke views, so he failed, and men, here's the message if you get it.
It's both.
Agree with her, be woke, and you'll get the woman.
But
You also have to keep in mind that right now, of that age group for the women, all they got is their politics. They don't have family, they don't have love, they don't like that's their fucking religion. So
You guys heard of hacktivism?
Hagtivism? You're talking about Royce's?
Chateau Ortiz talks about it. Basically, he's like, as women age, they start becoming very zealous about politics and all that stuff. And that's like one of the big signs of the wall is that, hey, you know, they can't control men with their beauty and all that stuff. So they start using shame and guilt. And politics is just an extension of that. So
I'd add
Yeah.
religion too. You get those born agains that come in. That's
Yeah, always right at
Absolutely.
29 or 30 years old, they all of a
Mhm.
sudden find Christianity and now they're born again. And it always goes, oh, I was a slut in my early 20s. You know, I was running around degenerate. And then all of a sudden at 29, oh, I found God and I'm a faithful woman now.
Look, I'm telling you, it's happening earlier and earlier. I'm meeting these chicks at like 24, 25 with this garbage, with this politics and religion and single mom garbage going around and shaming men into how dare you have an age gap in your relationship. I'm not kidding. This shit is happening sooner and sooner, and I don't know why. I think it's maybe access to the internet or whatever, which was a mistake having women on there, but but I'm telling you, it's happening way earlier than 28, 29 these days. I remember having a date. This girl was, how old was she? 23, 24. And of course, they're susceptible to the popular thing. Let's get that right out of the way. But this was a Dutch girl, mind you. And she was asking about Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, first of all, why do you worry about that? And second, I'm like, you know what? I think we should just judge people by the character or by their actions of their character, not the color of their skin kind of shit. You know? That's kind of my take. She's like, "Oh, I don't know if I could date somebody who's like that." I'm like, "Well, enjoy your evening," and I walked out. I just walked out. I'm like, "Fuck this shit." Like, no.
Can I say something accurate yet politically incorrect?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, please do.
Okay. You have to understand that Black people and other minorities are basically rich white women's pets. Okay, that is how they're like, oh my God, like I'm of course I'm joking, but there is actually some truth to that statement. If you look at dog rescue, if you look at kitten rescue, if you look at all this other shit, they need something to do and they need to have agency. And all it does is take a little push in the right direction through media or the schools or whatever other kind of influences are out there. And it's the BLM is my thing. I'm totally the BLMs now. Or Paul, you're about my age. Some of you guys are also my age. Do you guys remember it was the environment not too long ago? Like, oh, I so much care about Earth and all that. That's all this fucking shit is. It's all it is. And my question is, when are people going to wake up to it? And apparently not, because this is how much views did this show get? Like, the show's still going on, right? Is this like the marriageable bachelor show? What is this show?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of ratings these guys get.
They don't share. It's just Netflix stuff. But the big one is they don't see each other beforehand, so they have to see if they fall in love before they know what they look like.
Okay,
and then afterwards you watch them all explode because now that they find out who's hot and who's ugly, they make up excuses why they don't like each other after all.
So the fact a significant percent of the Western population believes the premise of this, like storage wars, like, oh my God, here's the $10 million painting that I found. So the fact the average Westerner falls for this shit, it should not be shocking that, oh my God, I totally am with fill in ideology religion that isn't traditional religion here for modern day girl boss to be really. And Jack, to corroborate, you've seen it in the real world where you have some 24-year-old idiot. Oh my God, what about Black Lives Matter? Which
mind you, she was Dutch. Okay, like police don't have guns here.
I'm aware, but it shows you how and how easily dupable these people are.
Yeah, I think our mutual friend Mish had always said that no woman that's happily getting dick down will ever be on the internet arguing with strangers, and you see it all the time.
Yes.
They turn to activism or some kind of hardcore progressive ideology normally, and sometimes even, more right-leaning ideologies, and are just browbeating everybody on the internet. It's like, what are you doing here?
Ryan, Ryan, didn't you hang on? Ryan has didn't you say something? If left to their own devices, women will self-destruct. Was that you or somebody else?
That was you.
Donovan.
No, it wasn't me.
Donovan. Women left without instruction are headed toward destruction.
Yeah, my part is just they have to have some best option, and if it's not a guy or it's not their dad, a lot of women are just latching onto like politics and just clout, and that's what all this bougie globalist stuff is. It's just clout. All my friends are doing it, so I should do it too.
Do you guys think...
You're muted.
Oh, yeah, I got you muted. Hold on.
It's been around forever, so.
Say that again.
The Bible actually gets into that, not going down the religion road, but the point is that women will self-destruct left to their own devices. The ancients knew that. Pick your religion, pick your tradition, whatever. But it's always been known that, women left to their own devices, they get busy, they get emotionally disturbed, and they just cause problems.
Women causing problems. That's weird. One thing that I really wanted to point out with that video, though, is it's almost like you could see it in her face when he starts capitulating. He starts qualifying to her. You could just see it in her face. She's got the ick. You know what I mean? Like it's like women, even though she'll say that she wants him to be on the same page as BLM, and as soon as she realizes that you're not, and that you're changing your values to try to fit into her frame, women don't want to win, right? Like they all of a sudden are like, wait a second, I'm able to manipulate this guy and he's going to do anything for me. Gross.
What guys are afraid of is that she doesn't like them. But you don't want to worry about that because she might not like you, but she can respect you. And those are two very different things. Now, this guy going with her where it's like, I think equality is a good thing as well. If he would have sat there and like pat her on the hat where it's like, that's nice, dear, he would have gotten a lot farther. Or if he would have like ended it right there where it's like, you know what? I don't really care about all that. She might not have liked him, but she would have respected him.
Yeah.
Which would have been way more beneficial to him.
Well, a woman can't love a guy that she doesn't respect at the end of the day, So she has to be able to respect him.
But in all honesty, though, it's so nice when they hate you and they respect you. Just saying. If you know, you know.
It's almost that negative emotion in them it's a good thing, right? I was watching a video, I can't remember where it was, and the guy made perfect sense, and he was saying the worst place you could be with a woman is where she has basically like apathy towards you. She has no feelings for you at all, because women are emotional creatures, right? And if they have no sense of any kind of emotion towards you, then you're done, right? And so it's like even if
to go find it.
Yeah, so even if they're mad at you, it's a good thing, It's like
the opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy.
Yeah. That's why you got to start a forest fire once in a while, so they can feel that emotion. You got to text her, hey, I don't like your attitude or something on the way to work, and just put your phone on silent and enjoy the rest of your day.
I hate to agree with Nuke. It really hurts me to agree with Nuke.
You got to start forest fires, or else the forest fire will kill you.
You almost have to do a 1-to-1 ratio of positive reinforcement to negative reinforcement. Like, just even if you were to hold standards, and like, no, that's BS. We're not going to do it. That's one thing. But Nuke is right. Sometimes you got to be like, yeah, I'm not talking to you for the next couple hours. I got shit to do. And it's like, he's right. Yeah, you can't just be nice
if she
to
calls,
him.
like, 1 second, I'm with my side chick, or some shit, whatever. Depending on the girl, right? It's funny, but like they need that really, really bad, or else they'll seek it somewhere else. So
could they also just be so done with every man being a supplicant bitch since the baby boomers? And I know it was well intended on the part of men, but it's so common. Like, what do you want, dear? What do you want, dear? What do you want, dear? Oh my God. And just the guy that says, fuck off, I have shit to do. Stop being an idiot. And I mean, literally it's something different, and thus makes it scarce and therefore valuable.
Well, yeah, I mean, this kind of goes to the conversation on frame because, if she doesn't want anything to do with you when, let's say you get that text in the morning, like, oh, what's wrong with you? And you just don't answer, then at least you know that she's still into you because she's trying to bother you and trying to get your attention. But if you're pissed off or, trying to see, throwing that little bauble out there to see if she's going to bite and she doesn't bite at all, then at least she's not interested. Or if she's saying, oh, are you okay? And then a couple hours later follows up with, did I make you mad? It's like, okay, well, at least I know she's still interested, right?
Yeah, exactly. Shifting gears here, let's say this wasn't a TV show. This was a real life. What could have been done differently? Like, where did he go wrong, do you think? Let's throw that over to Ray. What do you think, Ray?
Oh, the first thing you should do is not lie to her. As soon as you're lying, you're doing it as you're manipulating. You just want her to feel a certain way.
Yeah,
And I don't. And look, it's not even about like, well, she can tell when you're manipulating her or any shit like that. I'm not even going to go that direction. It's just if she dumped him anyway. Let's assume this is real. She dumped him anyway. So why is he wasting all of that time between then and now just to get to the point where he's already dumped when he could have saved everybody a lot of effort by just saying, you know what? I don't like Portland, but I don't want it to burn to the ground either. And then she could say, all right, catch you later. And then he had a whole, however long the filming was, to kit on one of the other Minnesota girls instead. You know what I mean? It's just a self-respect thing.
Yeah. Ray, you
I
want to add
keep
on
getting
that?
hung up on the fact that we know that it's staged, and had he done what he should have done, had he held frame, and like Ryan said, don't lie to her, just be upfront, it wouldn't have made the show. So I'm kind of wrestling with that. But the real life application, of course, is that I forget who said it, but maybe Cappy, but women are sick of this. Women are absolutely sick of it. They could be the most progressive feminist woman out there, and they want a man that's going to basically be a man, be in his frame, say no, and they might get angry, and that gets into the whole frame and indifference and telling basically, I'm not going to talk to you for 2 hours, right? You go do your dumb shit over here. I'll come back later when you're feeling better. And that's what women want, to be told no, to be stood down. And again, I keep kind of wrestling with the fact that I know that that wouldn't have made the show. So
Right. It's boring TV when guys are just like, yeah, we're not gonna get on board with BLM. They're like, wait, what? Ah, you heard me. Let's change the subject. Like that's not good TV, right? That's not good drama. But yeah, man, it goes more than that, right? Because what Ryan was saying is like, don't lie to her. Don't, because that's, you're basically manipulating her. That's one thing. But also, like, you're just not being congruent, right? Women have a congruence like sniffer. Like, they can sniff out when you're full of shit. And if you're just not in alignment with your own values, they can tell that. She would respect him more if he just straight up said, yeah, it's just not important to me.
you know what's come up in some of my consulting calls lately is just that, is are they full of shit or not? And I'm going to do an article. I'm working on an article now for the Substack about swagger. And if you don't really believe it, if you're not really that confident in you that you could say no or walk away or whatever that is, right? And it gets deep into what a man's doing in the rest of his life, that he could actually hold frame and not just be pretending to frame, right? And women can't smell that. And I've got a guy that I've been working with, and he's a good looking dude and has gotten in shape in the last couple of years, but he doesn't have it here in his head. When he walks into a room, he might as well be a skinny 15-year-old kid, right? As opposed to walking in the room that I own this place, or at least that sort of general attitude that I belong here. I don't care what you think. That's swagger, that's frame, as opposed to the guy that, I went to the gym and I made some good money on my last job, but I still don't feel like I belong here.
Mm. That reminds me, there's a lot of people in the space will say fake it till you make it. I think there is something to that, because you can do that enough to where you start believing it yourself. Like, all that repetition and starting, is going to help you believe it. But yeah, if at first you don't believe it, and that actually comes across in your body language, your tone, how you say things. That's one of the reasons why I wrote my second book that I did with Thor, The Psychology Paradigm. It's all about reprogramming your subconscious to start believing that you have, this frame and stuff like that. Cause a lot of guys don't, right? They're not congruent because they're not in alignment with their subconscious beliefs about themselves. I know Cappy thinks that's all woo-woo nonsense. He shits on my books about that stuff all the time, but that's neither here nor there. It's
Well, a lot of guys self-edit too. Like, they've been told what to think, how to think, and all that stuff their whole lives. And uh, it's sad because you really don't care about a lot of the things that you've been told to care about. Like, we don't care about political issues. Like, seriously, like most of us just want our steaks to be cheap, taxes a little lower, and we usually vote that way. But like, people want you to self-edit everything, even your own thoughts. And guys, they break free from this by just thinking, what do I want? What's actually important and all that stuff. Why is someone trying to make me join their holy war, their holy quest to be better? And you have to really ask yourself, as a man, you're the most vulnerable, especially in the West. You're the most vulnerable demographic on Earth. Everyone wants your mind. Everyone wants your labor. Everyone wants everything from you and give nothing back. So your job as a man is to make sure that you're getting something back for, the labor and the stuff you do for people. And if you're self-editing all the time, you're not even you. You're just saying what you need to say to get through life, and then you're gonna get challenged one day, and then your girl's gonna be looking at you, and you don't even know who you are because you've self-edited your whole life. So be honest with yourself, be honest with others in a charming way, of course. Don't be like a groiper and scream your political views on the internet all day or something. But at the same time, like, you have to figure out who you are, because women can sniff that out. They sniff out incongruencies pretty well, and if even if they don't agree with you or hate you, they will still kind of know who you are, and that's more important. So,
Give me an example of self-editing that guys do.
No, babe, you don't look fat.
Yeah, in any context, like if you're around a group of girls, you automatically change your tone, your views, and all that stuff. Like we've all approached, like we've all been in a scenario where we have our best friend or a friend. There's girls around. Your friend acts completely different around the girls. It even throws you under the bus just to make the girls like him or something. Stuff like that, and then in your marriage and all that stuff. So,
Yeah, I mean,
it could happen in any context.
I'm sure we've seen all of us have seen guys say like, "Oh, I would never treat you the way your ex-boyfriend did. Oh, he's such an asshole." Or, a girl's bringing up something about a guy that did something in her past, and you try to basically deer it away and about how great of a guy you are. When, I mean, what is that doing for you? You shouldn't have to explain yourself to somebody in that situation because once again, you look like you're coming across very defensive.
I would say a very obvious thing where you're kowtowing to your woman is where instead of having a garter around your microphone boom, you have a stuffed shark. I think that's a real sign of compliance capitulation. No, seriously, but let's we could talk about examples, but if we look at the core, what's happening is you're under the erroneous assumption that being agreeable and being nice is going to get you laid. I cannot emphasize this enough. And do you think this would, okay, fine, it's acting, but if it was in the real world, do you think she'd be putting these qualifiers if she just viscerally wanted to fuck him? This would not, this is a sign it's over. It's a sign that it's over. If you're in the toilet rolling around with a pig in the mud talking about BLM or Christianity or whatever other horse shit, astrology that these girls are bringing. Well, what do you think about that? And they like have it a bit. No, it's over. And step one is make it that she just wants to fuck you. She is madly in love with you, and you avoid this shit. Like, this is their wedding day. This is what you're talking about? Like this shit? Like, no, a perfect wedding day would be, I can't wait till these assholes get out of here so we can go fuck. Matter of fact, let's go ditch over into the bathroom right now. That's what that would be. But this, and unfortunately, I would say, though it's theater, the theater more accurately reflects the vast majority of marriages and courtships now in the U.S. But taking what everyone says, you're trying to get a bird's eye view. Look at what's happening. Why are we talking about this? It's because she doesn't want to fuck you. That's why you're talking about it. And now she's got to go to some other shit that's important in her secondary world. That's why you're running into this shit.
Well, that's what the ick list is, right? Like on IG, you see these guys, they build this ick list. They want to be victims, right? So they go and they look up videos of women on the street that are drunk, that are saying whatever to get clout. And they're like, hey, I don't like that guys wear raincoats. It gives me the ick. And then guys just make this list and they're like, okay, we can't wear raincoats. And I'm like, you can do whatever you want as a man, right? It's that the ick is just something she says to herself because she's trying to explain why she's not attracted to you in the first place, right? If you're jacked and you have a good haircut and you smell good and you have charm, girls would be like, wow, that raincoat looks really cute on you, right? It's all like Cappy says, being hot is number one. That's it.
I love stuffed sharks on microphone booms. Yeah, exactly.
I might need to go find a pair of my mom's panties to throw on mine. Just
wow, good one. Look at that. Wow, kid strikes back. All right.
Thanks for the book, by the way, Captain.
I was waiting for the right time.
Go review it one of these days too, all you Hanyakers.
Let's all give it a negative review.
I got the best friends in the world. Yeah.
He still hasn't sent me one. Negative stars. There you go.
Hey,
Oh, that's because I told him not to. I said, don't
don't send one
send
to
it to the
Jack.
Dutch.
He won't
Can
appreciate
we get
it.
back to the topic instead
No,
of
no.
guys wishing you had a dick like me?
I wanna go around the panel about this, but should guys even? I mean, it goes hand in hand with what Cappy was saying, right? Should guys even engage in political discussion with women in the dating process? And I have a Royce blog article about this, but let's go around. I see Jack shaking his head. What do you have to say about that?
No, you don't. You don't. Dates are for fun. Like, it's to get to know each other, not your ideology. Look, first of all, to the victor goes the spoils. If Red Hawk was here, he would have agreed with me fully on this. We see it now. All of a sudden, women like Trump. You know why? Because Trump won. To the victor go the spoils. You know, what are women's politics? Whatever's popular. That's it. Or whatever the politics of the most dominant man in her direct surroundings are. Do not talk about politics around women because, first of all, they probably don't know what it's about. That's one. And second are the points I just mentioned previously. Don't make it lighthearted, make it fun, make it exciting, but for the love of God, don't talk about something as boring as politics because, again, she won't know what she's talking about. She's just regurgitating what she's heard online or from her stupid friends or from of whomever the most dominant man in her direct surroundings is.
All right. Anybody else want to add on to that? Talking about politics?
I will. I would use Jack's right. Like up front, just dating, having fun. It doesn't matter. But if you're screening for a long-term person, you can't have somebody with parasitic politics, and that's what socialism, leftism, Democrat, labor, whatever it is. Those goddamn Democrats, Ryan.
You fuck it right out of them.
Yeah, I mean, and it would be no different than any other cult-like ideology. If they're a radical Christian, born-again Christian, if they're a radical environmentalist, you got to find out what's most important to them. So there's general mindless compliance because it's a popular thing. Oh my God, I want to help the poor. It's another thing if like she's a feminist and she's a diehard Democrat and she actually believes in taking half your income, and because that's going to be more important to her than love or you. So I would definitely, and it could go to the conservative right as well. I'm just pointing out any false god they have that would make you second place. That's what you'd be screening for. So yes, if it looks like someone that's going to be serious, you definitely want to know basically if they have cancer or AIDS of the brain.
I mean, so yeah, sort of on your line of thinking, I've heard lots of guys say, "Oh no, I'm talking about politics right up front because I need to know what her values are, and if
I want her to validate them.
right,
Yeah,
She needs to believe what I believe, or she's not worth me. They're acting like chicks. Like
It's
they
like
can
an
make an ick list. Girls
it's
give a
not
fuck.
it's not an attractive topic to really lead into either. I mean, if you're like Cappy said, if you're screening for something more long term, then obviously you probably want somebody that's either like apolitical or slightly right leaning if you're in this kind of sphere. But yeah, if they're like passionate about it either way, like very, very passionate, then that could present some issues down the line just because it's not worth the headaches. I went out with a friend once in one of the old bands I used to play in, and I remember me and the girl that he was with, I was all boozed up and we started talking about politics. And he messaged me the next morning and said, well, I'm kind of thankful you guys got into that argument because I wouldn't have known how to respond to that. Now I'm not talking to her anymore. I was like, all right, cool, man. Glad I sorted that one out for you.
There you go.
Yeah,
I mean, talking about the
seems to be a-
Jordanians seems to get them wet. So I've
Yeah,
heard.
there seems to be
Just
an
ask Fuentes.
overcorrection with guys. They scream their political views and they think that they're the ones kind of like filtering girls based on their politics. But the truth is, all women are kind of feminists. We are all feminists in a way. Like we support the system. You're gonna get cornered from time to time on dates. Girls are gonna corner you and be like, "So what do you think of this?" Right? Always fail to center or just lie and say, "Yeah, I agree with you" or something. Like it's not a big deal. They're just trying to see that you're not weird, that you passed the shit test, and then you move on. They'll have it on their Hinge profiles. They'll have it. They'll corner you in real life, asking you about this shit. But the truth is, like, do you want to get laid or you want to be right? And I tell guys like, let's say you bring a girl back to your place, don't leave your weapons around your gun, right? Like, put it away. Like, even girls that agree with your views are probably gonna feel kind of some way if you're too extreme or show them too early on in an interaction what you believe, right? Like your Trump Art of the Deal book, maybe put that in a bookcase somewhere. your weapons, your guns, your ammo. Don't leave it on the living room
I
table
can't
and all that
disagree with
stuff.
you more. I cannot disagree
but-
with you more.
But
Cappy leaves out an AR-15 on the
after
coffee
you
table.
after you fuck the shit out of her like 2 or 3 times, she will help you load your gun, clean your gun, and you know
Yeah.
you'll watch Trump memes together, right? You got to put everything is in order, and guys want to put the whole "I'm so awesome, I'm a secret king." You got like if you don't vote for Trump, if she didn't vote for Trump, he's not worth your time. I'm like, bro, pussy is apolitical. Like it feels the same whether it's Republican or Democrat. So
Before
just enjoy
we
yourself.
gotta correct. Nuke is like an A- student. You know, he's right 98% of the time, but he gets one. Do leave a modest pistol out. Yeah, I agree. Hide the
The
Trump shit.
modest one.
Just like
know,
not some
revolver,
fucking dumbass extended magazine with a bunch of optics on it. You just leave a standard pistol by your bedside.
38 special.
Yeah.
They'll think you're a gumshoe.
Smith and Wesson.
Listen up now.
Bodyguard
Here's
man
how
with
it's
a
gonna
big
be,
fan.
Yamal. You're gonna
Well,
suck this dick now. Ah.
There's
Go ahead,
two
Ray.
there's two different things going on here that should we screen, as Cappy was indicating, should we screen for her politics? And if you're trying to do anything else than just a one night stand or hit it and quit it, yeah, you need to screen for her politics. However, am I going to discuss serious matters, political or otherwise, with the woman? No, I'm not going to do it. Women are totally turned off by that. I don't really care what they think at that level. Um, I've had the opportunity to probably talk to 10 or 12 different alpha widows, women that have contacted me through my social media after I post on Alpha Widow, and they want to do calls with me just like the guys. And they're like, hey, is that me? And they kind of go through their story. And one of the universals in all of their stories is when I ask them, what is it about that guy that made him so special, so great? And the first thing they always say is he made me laugh. He made me laugh. They don't give two shits about your serious thoughts. Make them have fun, make them feel good, make them feel excited for the moment. And as Cappy was saying, yeah, screen. If you're going to do this more than once or twice, screen for who she is, because if she believes in these far left things, she's going to be a disaster as a wife or girlfriend or whatever your plans are, right? But yeah, don't discuss serious things, but at the same time, find out who she is.
Her medicine cabinet is way more important than her political views.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
she has
Just
antidepressants in
saying.
there. Yeah.
Did you
Just saying.
did you
Ask her how
contract
long she's
something,
been in
Jack?
therapy.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Did
Does
you
she have
ever-
herpes
Yeah,
medicine
Jack,
in
did you
there?
contract
Does
something? What happened?
No. No, I did not. All I'm saying is her medicine cabinet and things like that, that's way more important than her
Jack,
politics.
it's all right if you have herpes. I'll still be your friend, but you
she's
know.
got a.
I mean, who do you think I got it from? Don't hide it, Cappy.
Vince.
You know.
You got it from
know.
Vince. Yeah.
she get the monkey Cappy.
Learn the
I
names
did.
of all the different SSRIs.
Oh, yeah, that's the one. It's like Hillary Clinton. I don't care. The SSRIs. It's like, yeah, that's
It's crazy how you still flirt with him after you find out he has herpes. It was just so weird.
I know, right?
Kudos to the game.
Women are pretty
And you
hideous
played hard
in my
to get.
country,
It was good. You,
know,
were frame checking him.
Look,
Fucking
Jack, compared to the women in America at Walmart in South Dakota, Jack's looking pretty good right now.
I know, right? I wore my shirt specially for you. You know.
look at those clavicles.
Jesus Christ. This is devolving quickly.
Says the guy with the foot video.
You know what? Yeah, guys, $30 super chat. I got rid of that video. It's
Good.
A lot of complaints about that one. Anyway, I wanted to bring something up because it's interesting that Nuke was talking about. He's like just lie to him or whatever. Because a couple of years ago, Nuke really burst onto the scene with this really epic fucking Twitter thread that he put together that went viral, and it still sticks with me to this day. One of the sub tweets in that thread, Nuke was talking about how don't worry about politics with women because Frame fixes their politics. Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. It's been a while. Do you remember that, Nuke? You're on
Yeah.
mute.
So when I went out, I had a girlfriend. My first girlfriend here in Dallas, I went to her house for the first time, and under her TV, there were just a stack of books of just like super woke shit. Just right, but there she was in the kitchen making me a meal and all that. Um, I don't think guys should get too caught up in what she says. Like, watch what women do, not what they say. And a lot of times their politics are just they want to fit in with other women, right? They, they just want to fit in and they want to feel good. It's all about feelings and all that stuff. But um just treat all women like I wouldn't say the same, but like they're women, right? They follow their emotions and feelings. They don't have honor and they don't have morality. They go with the winners, right? So be a winner, and then her politics will be what the winners want in her life. So yeah.
I will say, do treat all women the same. That's a big problem that a lot of guys have is they'll treat the pretty ones a certain way and they'll treat the ugly ones completely different. And when they're actually doing is pedestalizing the prettier ones. But if you treat the pretty ones like you treat the ugly ones, the pretty ones tend to like you better because you're treating them like almost like a human being and you're not putting them on a pedestal.
Who was
Well, we
it?
see this in the
RSD.
context of politics too. Like guys will see a blonde girl with a MAGA hat and be like, "Wow, she's a good girl." And then we see on X and in the news how they behave, whether it be getting pregnant by by tech billionaires and then causing a shit show, or banging Destiny or whatever. And it's just like, guys, it's time to kind of like stop falling for this because they're gonna keep doing it. The only reason they keep doing this is because they put on a MAGA hat and guys fall for it. Like, let's just start assuming that women's politics has nothing to do with their character, and we'll all be safer as men, and these women will stop destroying men's lives or something.
Mm.
Have you
Just a
guys
thought. Just a thought.
have you ever seen that meme where it's a picture of a chick looking for validation?
Yeah.
And then it's the same chick with a MAGA hat on, and it's just like she's looking for
Oh yeah, Rollo posts
validation.
it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one with the selfie. But who was it? Even RSD Tyler used to say, like, just imagine she has morning breath. All girls have morning breath, no matter how pretty they are or whatever. They all fart, they're all whatever. But let's say there's a pretty girl, just look at her and just keep looking, and not in a creepy way or whatever, until you see something is off, like a weird nose or whatever, or her one eye is a little bit lazier than the others. Just go with that, where it's like, oh yeah, the lazy eye chick. Degrade her a little bit in your mind and go from there. And like we mentioned, the politics thing, don't take it seriously. To the victor goes the spoils. Whatever's popular is what their politics are.
If you want to get unmatched as fast as possible on any dating app, start talking about politics. Even if she has it in her bio, start with that, and I guarantee you, within minutes.
Even if you agree, you guys can have
Use the
same
dream
beliefs.
opener. That's the one.
Yeah. Even
I
with
want to
your
come on your
hobbies-
tits and make you my girlfriend.
Yeah, you're better off talking about Hillary Clinton at that point.
Even if you guys have the same hobbies, like she could have the complete compilation of Berserk manga, or you could have it and she could be like, yeah, I love Berserk, or I love this hobby. Just say, yeah, I dabble sometimes in this hobby. You could have your whole Lego cave set up, but you will keep that. You don't get over enthusiastic about your views, your hobbies. Just lay back and be like, yeah, I love doing that. And it's some guys, they think that they have to have the same hobbies, like they believe in compatibility based on interests, and I'm like, no, just shut up, be charming, and leave that for later. Don't put the cart before the horse.
Was there something you wanted to add to that, Ray?
Going back just a little bit, I think everybody here has hit on good points. I think a lot of it comes down to a degree. Put these women on a spectrum. To Cappy's point, I think it was, is she a feminist? Is she hardcore? Whatever. And then to what Nuke is saying, if you're in your frame and you do things right, you can overcome a lot of that. I think that's true for most women, but not all women. Some women, emotionally unstable, hardcore politics, whatever it is. Personally, I would tell guys, most of the time what Nuke said is going to be the case, that if you are in your frame and you take the lead and all the things we've already covered, you do you be the man, you be in charge, not asking for permission, all these things, her politics will conform to yours. But be aware of the fact that some women are just out there. Even if she goes along with your frame for now, if she really does believe in some things that are totally off of what your moral or values compass is, it's going to be a problem sooner or later. When she feels like everything's locked down and feels secure in the relationship, those more natural values are going to come out and they're going to be a problem.
Chameleons. Yeah.
You 99, I would say 99% of the women that you want to avoid, you can just pick them out from their profile pictures too. I mean, like the pink hair, pink or blue hair, the septum piercings, the neck tattoos. I'm not.
Fat.
Fat.
Fat. It's just
No.
fat. Nobody
The
cares about
fat
the tattoos
ones-
of the hair or the
If
things.
you,
Just fat.
The worst ones will look the prettiest. Like the behavior and stuff like that. The ones that will wreck you the most, you won't see on the outside, because they know exactly what you want to hear. They know exactly what you want to see, and they go with that. And then you're the frog in the boiling pot, and you're too late. Lauren Southern, shit like that.
31
You
and
can't
hot.
tell me Lauren Southern is mentally straight. The girl doesn't have a tattoo, no septum piercing, no nothing, and she's still in shape. I will guarantee you she is mentally wrecked.
You have to
Doesn't.
have sex with Destiny, bro. There's no way you're mentally sane and have sex.
Oh
with
yeah,
Destiny.
no,
Like,
100%
let's be
agree. If you've
honest,
had
can we
sex with
just say
Destiny, that
Just-
is. But Destiny is
Like-
known for that, like he likes the complete psychos and whatever. I mean,
Destiny's the
like,
type
good on
of
him.
dude that if you were on a date and you found out a girl slept with him, you would not
Over.
no longer be attracted to her.
Yeah.
You'd
Yeah,
be
it's
like, I'm
over.
sorry.
You can have. Give me Sydney
can't-
Sweeney, and if she tells me she slept with Destiny, I will never want to look at a photo or whatever of her again. It's like, no,
it's just
no.
You're just like, why'd you tell me that? Like,
yeah, it's done.
can't-
I will like revoke you from my memory. It's like, no, you are dead to me.
You,
like-
you know you're going to catch something too. It's just
Yeah.
it's a matter of time. It's not. It's not. If,
But in his
when.
defense, he did hit.
yeah,
still-
he did
It
it.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Got laid.
Yeah, I mean, say whatever you want. He did do it. I mean, probably all for clout and whatever, but still, he did.
Wow,
He did.
drugs. Yeah.
So I want to keep this going. I did find an old Royce article where he talks about this. It's called "Girls in Politics." I'll drop a link to it in the chat here from the Red Pill archive. But Royce had a pretty good take on this sort of thing too, and he essentially came to the conclusion because he was in DC, right? He was Royce in DC, and before he became Chateau Hartis, but he was dating in the Washington DC area, and there was a lot of liberal women in Washington DC, and he was saying, if I only went out with conservative women, I would never go out with women because all the women here are like raging liberals, right? And so one of the things that he found fascinating was that women almost always assume that the guy that they're on a date with shares their politics, because women's inherent solipsism kicks in and they just sort of think that everyone agrees with whatever they're agreeing with, right? And so he says that's something that you can actually work with, right? If you just kind of keep things vague and don't really get into anything and change the topic, like they almost are okay with it because they just sort of assume that you're on the same side, right? But one thing that he was really adamant about in the article was not arguing with women about politics, because it's just one of the biggest attraction killers, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what Nuke is saying, right? Like, do you want to be right or do you want to get laid? So yeah, how do you guys think a guy can handle that in a situation if politics does come up on a date? What do you think?
Amused master.
Lie. You lie.
True.
I don't say you emphatically agree either, because then you're being obedient. But you can say, yeah, you know what, I agree with you, but why would you want to talk about politics? I try to change the topic of conversation. So you just agree, but because they got to be tired of politics too in their life, right? Like, don't you guys get tired of red pill stuff and maybe just want to, I don't know, go play a video game?
I don't
go
know.
for
Some people follow politics like some people follow sports entertainment,
Sure. So you acquiesce like, oh yeah, of course I hate Trump, but I don't know. Do you want to go have fun? And let's not have Republicans ruin our lives more than they have already, right?
I would just ask her who
Huh?
Trump is. It's like, huh? Who's that? What? Never heard of him.
She's not gonna buy that. I just say,
Oh, no.
if I sent her, like, if she says some weird political shit, fail to the center, and if she still kind of keeps pulling the string and asking you more, then it's probably like she's not that into you in the first place.
Yeah, I
She
mean,
just wants to
you-
argue.
what a lot of politicians even do, and there's a lesson in here, is that they kind of say bland platitudes that anybody could agree with, and generally that's where she's probably going to start. and you could probably just, generically say, oh yeah, I want what's best for the American people too. All right. What else do you want to drink tonight? Do you want to do a shot real quick or something like that? Don't, drill down into the willy-nilly or the intricacies of foreign policy or the Jordanians. Just find a way to pivot out of it, without being too specific or autistic about anything.
Yeah, make it playful. Like the date's
Right.
supposed to be fun and playful. Like, what do you think of guns? I'm like, well, I'd have one just to protect you from everyone else, or whatever
Oh,
silly playful.
God,
joke.
that's smooth. Fuck, that got me wet.
God damn it. God,
And
wait.
and that's the thing.
what?
Like, women are so underfucked and overworked and tired, and they're on TikTok and Twitter all day arguing with brown red pill men or whatever, and they're on a date and they just like,
You
"Oh,"
know
and
about
then
this,
you have to give them a drink just so that they can come back down to earth and relax, and then they're gonna be like, I can't believe this news about whatever this person said. And, you have to actively. It's a minefield at first because women in the beginning of a date are always kind of like stressed and all that stuff. And you have to like, hey, like relax. We're here. We're having a good time. Like relax. It's not important. And ladies need that because anything they read on the internet, it's just emotionally charged all the time.
I
Nuke,
will
check
add
Twitter.
to this. I would add
What?
to this
Check
that
Twitter.
a great calm down, like Nukes, having it. We used to be able to feed women alcohol back in my day. That's illegal now. A great thing is it sidesteps politics and everyone agrees on it. It's like how much you like Corey Wayne. If you introduce Corey Wayne, everybody, like, who doesn't like Mr. Rogers? Everybody loves Corey Wayne. So we talk about that, then
Yes.
bam,
Yeah.
like that brings it down. Everyone's having a good time now.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's always my go-to. Like, what do you think about Corey Wayne? And then if she says, I don't know who he is, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, bitch.
Cappy, you joke, but the former main plate, I did give her your book, Curse of the High IQ. She loved it.
Good.
She loved it.
That's actually quite apolitical. So
Yeah, everyone thinks they're smart, so everyone loves that book. They're like, oh,
Mm.
this is me.
Nuke, that's why I like you. That book has the highest number of reviews because everyone has to have their opinion. And I wonder how much is Dunning-Kruger effect on that book. Like the percentage of people.
Oh, a lot.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
A lot.
no wonder no one understands me. This is
Oh yeah,
right
a
here.
lot of it is circle jerk, guaranteed.
You're
No
not
offense to
wrong.
you, Cappy. No offense to
No,
you,
it's a
but
great book. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
So Royce, he has some recommendations in his book. One of the things is it's almost like an agree and amplify type thing. He basically says you can sort of deflect with humor with that. If they bring up like, oh, who did you vote for president? He recommends saying something like, oh, I wrote in Ron Jeremy. That guy's a self-made man, stuff like that.
for the Zoomers who don't know who that is, Ron Jeremy, 80s.
Yeah.
He's a
But
great
a lot of
actor.
it just comes down to basic social skills. Can you be moderately passive aggressive to redirect the conversation and just move on? Like I said, she just wants to have fun. She doesn't want anything serious.
Yeah. I used to I used to be really into politics. So it was something, hard for me to break on a date because I was that guy that would like bring up politics and fucking ruin the whole conversation. But I learned the easiest way to deal with that is if a woman starts bringing up like all the shitty stuff that she perceives is happening with like BLM or, LGBTQ or whatever, any kind of political thing that's negative or whatever, I will just be like, yeah, things are crazy right now, and then change the subject. I would. What do you think about the Broncos? Just anything that's not politics, and it usually worked pretty good.
Do you know what the conversation should be about?
Sex.
It should be about sex. It should be flirtation and sexual innuendo. That's the only reason men and women are getting together. Like when we get together, we don't talk about sex because we're guys. We just talk about our universal hatred of Jack. All right. But then when it comes to dating, and it's just like, why else would you be there? And the number one sign, is she into you? Is she flirting back? And Ray, you were right, where the girls are like, he made me laugh. If you get the girl, like you make some kind of snide remark and she gives you the backhand hit right here in your chest, that's what I'm fucking talking about. If you're talking about, well, did you watch the McNeil News Hour the other night? And what did you think about the news? End it. Just go home. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
The second date I ever went on with a woman in my age group, first date, lunch down by the river at a park. she mentions the Bible, and she was down on the Bible, anti whatever. Her son had just came out of the closet. Dad was not accepting of it. Then she gets into politics, and the whole time I'm like, okay, and that's where some social skill comes in to say, just not totally agree, like Happy was saying, not totally agree, but then you just divert. And we were making out about an hour later. It worked. I didn't have to agree to her anti whatever on the Bible. I didn't have to get on board with what I thought about her son coming out. None of that. Just move along. That's not what I'm here for.
You
I'm here
started
for
talking
this.
about Corey Wayne, didn't you? And that's when she jumped your bones.
Well, yeah, I think Ryan talks about this quite a bit, but that's kind of like fogging, where you're not necessarily agreeing or anything. You're just acknowledging that what she's saying and giving her some kind of tacit validation without, saying, oh, yeah, no, I agree. That's horrible. Her dad should be very accepting, or whatever way that she's feeling.
Yeah, you just sort of grab onto what she's feeling and feed it back to her, right? Oh yeah, I can see why you would be passionate about that.
I can see why you say that. Yeah.
And there's plenty good non-sexual topics on a date too. Like women love talking about their family. Women like one of the questions I used to ask on a date when the things got a little stale is like, "Oh, I'm sorry. How are you feeling today? I didn't ask." And they just won't, like get them talking about themselves, their family, stuff like that. And the politics will be the last thing, right? I think politics is just a buffer against, things that they don't want to talk about or no one ever asked them. So I don't know.
Well, back in the day, people used to talk about their jobs, and it's just now nobody has a job, so they talk about politics.
As a general recipe, you could just say, let her talk, period. And if she gets too serious, politics or anything else, just have the social skills to redirect. Let her talk, say funny things at the end of her sentences, and everything's great.
Rope-a-dope, love it.
Yeah. Hey, Cappy, you know where I learned that from? I learned that from Corey Wayne. He taught me to let her do 80% of the talking, and that actually does work very well.
Well, no, that is true. I know we give you guff for Corey Wayne, but no, Corey knows his shit. I mean, I know in case he tunes in, but yeah,
he's a lot of times he's got me blocked.
What, really?
Oh yeah.
What'd you do?
Oh, I pissed him off. He made a video, an anti-red pill video one time, and I stitched it and was like, everything in your book talks about the same shit we talk about, and he blocked me.
How's it feel to lose well, how does it feel to be godless now, Paul?
I know it hurts. It hurts right here in my heart, Cappy.
Paul, do you remember Heat? Remember that scene where they're in the coffee house and he's like, we're not so different, you and I. And then Pacino gets shot.
There you go.
You had the shootout in the LA bank with the Corey Wayne.
It's true. Happens. Yeah, it hurts, man. It hurts when your hero blocks you like that and rejects you. Yeah, no, it's good.
One other thing that kind of came to mind while we're kind of here is that like people like seeing other people that give a shit about stuff. I remember there was a guy that came over to my house to look at doing a corner of my basement to clean out some mold and stuff.
And that's what the kids call it these days.
But my wife was like, she seemed genuinely like happy for somebody that they came in and just knew a lot about this topic. So like, I'm a musician, I could talk about music. I'm a mechanic, so I'll talk about fixing cars or something like that. There's so many other topics that I'm sure all of us know a lot about. I'm sure Cappy knows a lot about gay bars. Ryan knows about taking trucks up hills in Canada and stuff. So I'm sure there's plenty of different things that you could talk about that you have genuine experience with rather than, political stuff because, I think Paul said it earlier, it's just a total attraction killer.
One thing that is a fun thing to do on a date is, and it's an NLP technique. It's called future pacing, but you get a girl to start imagining some kind of future scenario with you guys together. Mm-hmm. So, you ask her a question like, hey, 10 months from now, I tell you, hey, grab your suitcase, pack some stuff in it. Like, where are we going? Right. And then get her to be like, oh, we're going to Tahiti. And then you get her to start like imagining this scenario where you and her are in Tahiti and stuff like that. That's a fun thing to do. Because then she starts imagining this future with you and what that's all like and how much fun you guys are having. And now she associates all that with you. It's a good mental hack.
And you take her to Buc-ee's and then she's in love with you forever.
Right. Yeah.
It works in general flirting too. That I've had a number of times where just casual flirting with the first or second date and the talk does turn sexual. And not even overtly hot sexual talk, just kind of on the ancillary. And then instead of what you do is you put yourself on that and you say, when you and I do this, or if you put yourself in that sort of future tense that this is going to happen. And when you frame it like that, I've had them come right back and go, oh yeah, you and me. I'm like, yeah, you and me, we're going to do that. And they're like, oh, and it just, yeah. Short-term future tense, I guess is what you'd call that.
Yeah, that's all good stuff. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say about that, but oh no, one thing I was going to say is sex talk. When a woman brings up sex talk, a lot of guys, they make the mistake of getting overly sexual too soon, and they don't do it right. Like there's positive ways of doing that, like Ray was saying, right? Getting her to sort of imagine a future scenario with you would be good, but a lot of times guys get overly sexual, and it's a shit test that women will do to see if they can get you talking about that stuff. So it's almost always better to even change the subject with that initially. That's what I've found.
Or don't over talk it. If it's going great,
yeah,
don't beat that dead horse. Change the topic, move along. It primes the pump for later down the road.
I mean, let her talk.
To a woman. There's nothing weirder to a woman than sex talk, and there's no touching, kino. There's no presence, right? So like if you get like a nude before you even meet the chick, that's a shit test, right? Like, hey,
I still disagree with you on that one.
You have to be like, well, did you like? You need to clean your mirror behind you. It's a little dirty, but in a playful way. She's just trying to see how hungry you are, and if you're too hungry, you're communicating to her that you're not really good with women. Like you're constantly like you haven't seen boobs in a long time, so something's off with this guy. So
I still disagree with you on that one. I had so many first date where the chicks send a photo or whatever, and it went down. We skipped the coffee and shit like that. So that is one of the few things where I understand what you're saying, and to an extent, I can see where you're coming from. It hasn't been my experience.
Do you just if they send you that, you're just like, hey, let's just come back over to my place, like just meet me over here? Like, what do you do, Jack? What's your go-to?
No, I mean 9 times out of 10, like it's already coffee at her place or mine, stuff like that. But I'm like a little bit of a compliance test beforehand, like wear black or whatever. But every now and then, like the chick sends something, and it's like, oh, so that's what we're doing. On my way, kind of stuff like that. I've never had an issue with it where she did it out of to see if I was like hungry or whatever. It was more of
America's a bit of a different beast with chicks, though. Like I remember every time I'd go down to Diego or Francisco for Fleet Week, I don't know how to explain it. I've been with girls in the Middle East. I've been with girls in Europe. I've been with girls in North America and Mexico, Australia, Japan, Korea. American women are just different, and it's hard to explain how or why. I can totally see Nuke's thing about them making a shit test by sending you a nude, where a European would have a different style of it. So I will admit there is some cultural thing to this.
Interesting.
Yeah. One thing I did to Nurse Chick. One thing I did to Nurse Chick. She was like, we were dating already for like 6 months, and she had a lady friend that did boudoir photo shoots for women, and so for my birthday, I was in Georgia hanging out with some friends, and she went and had a boudoir photo session done, and she sent me the pictures, and she goes, I got you something special for your birthday. And I said, oh yeah, what's that? And she sent me one of the pictures, and instead of validating the nude that she sent me, I said, oh, you got me a camera? That's fucking awesome.
Okay, that is a good one.
Test passed. Well, yeah, America's very weird about sex. Like all these other countries, people are like, yeah, we have sex, whatever. But America's very like, it's a country founded on rugged individualism, but also Puritan values. So people are still very strange about sex. Like if you go to Latin America, like no one really talks about sex too much. It's implied that men and women have sex, but here in America, it's so weird. So the nude is more like they understand how weird the average guy is here. They understand how hungry they are and all that. Like, OnlyFans is popular in America for a reason, right? And when they do this, right? I'm not saying she doesn't want to have sex with you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying err on the side of her trying to see how hungry you are. And honestly, even for me, right? I don't like inviting girls over that I haven't like met outside of my apartment. Maybe I'm a little neurotic in that, but like it's just I want to meet you in person. I want to make sure you're not a catfish. I want to make sure you're not crazy. I want to make sure that you don't at least have a husband that's looking for you, stuff like that.
You want to meet in
It's
a
just
public place where there's witnesses.
yeah, like, and I know some
It's
guys
not
don't
that
care.
bad.
Every guy's different, right? But me personally, this is a personal thing. I just want to like touch the chick, give her a hug first, kind of like, okay, this chick's normal, right? Because
Do you
I
know
don't know. I
that
just
program? The guy who they both of them have blindfolds and they can like hit the button in the middle if they don't agree. And the one guy, he is so fucking smart. He's like, "Can I give you a hug?" And he feels a bit, and he feels that the chick in front of him is this huge fucking unit, and he's like, "Boom!" Before
yeah, I
she even
remember that.
said
I
a
laughed
word,
so hard at
after
that.
the
That's
hug,
hilarious.
boom.
Yeah,
No,
but I
but
mean,
I've had chicks like in the
whatever
beginning,
works,
like
man.
send me.
Like
Hmm?
whatever works. I just it's a
Oh.
personal thing. Like I want to. T-Rex needs to hunt, right? Like I like going on a date and charming women. I'm one of those weird guys that like I like making girls laugh. If you know, and it's a $70, $50 wine date. No big deal for me. Like sometimes I just need to go out and make a chick laugh, and if she's in down. But you know, that's
Oh
just
When
man,
you're
me.
a top G like Nuke, a $70 wine date is
I make them laugh all the time.
Dude,
But
with
it's like,
inflation, that's every date. You can go to McDonald's in Toronto and it's $70. It's like
I
whatever.
couldn't help but think like that's a tank of gas.
yeah.
I'm gonna
I
go get
always
some
go for
premium.
coffee. Like I know the heated debate, drinks or coffee. I always go for coffee.
both?
Where it's like no, yeah, both.
Yeah,
There's
so I
no
had my
one is
current girl,
not
or
better
say
than the
current
other.
girlfriend. My first girlfriend here in Dallas, we had coffee, and then date was going well. She showed up in a nice dress, and we were having a good time. And I pointed, hey, you want to grab a Cosmo across the street? And we went to the bar, and we dated for 8 months. It's like just do both.
Yeah, one is not better than the
chick
other.
with a coffee date. I didn't used to like doing coffee dates. I would prefer drinks in the evening, but nurse chick was a graveyard. She was doing graveyard nursing shifts at the time, so she couldn't go out for drinks in the evening. So we had to meet up for coffee.
Look, what really matters is she in front of you? Time of the day doesn't matter. It really people fuck during the day all the time. You know?
Yeah, and like how do you
it really doesn't matter.
Like what do you talk about, right? And what's your body language like? And there's a lot of factors that go into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, look, location also kind of plays into this because I remember I used to take girls to field parties and they would love that kind of shit where you go out there, you're in the middle of a field, everyone's got their pickups, a big old fire going, you pass around a bottle of something, and it's just a good time doing stuff like that. Or if you're in a city, going bar hopping from bar to bar to bar, depend on where you're at. If you're out by me, then you're driving 10-15 minutes to go to a bar and then to go to another bar. But if you go 45 minutes into the city, then it's like, okay, well, there's East Carson Street, you walk all along down Pittsburgh and get fucking blasted.
One addition to that is take her to some place where they know you.
Yes.
I did that. I didn't even mean to do it. It wasn't calculated on my part. I went to my favorite little tavern. This is a college town, so we have a couple different boulevards, not a lot of nice little taverns and cool places to go, sit on the patio and whatever. And I walk in with a date and everybody's like, Ray, kind of like Norm, from Cheers. And everybody is stopping by my table. Hey, how you doing? So on and so on. I get great service and it's instant social proof.
Yeah, I used to do that too. I tell guys that have a go-to place where you take every chick there. She's the only one on this first date. You've done this a bunch of times, and you just take them to a lot of guys don't realize this too because they're always asking women, "Hey, what do you want to do? What do you like to do?" And they try to get her to come up with the plans. Women want a guy that makes the plans. So if you just have that as your go-to, all you have to do is ask them when they're free, and then say, "Hey, cool, meet me at the Feisty Pint at 7 p.m. on Thursday."
I am the plan.
The bartenders are your best wingmen. Like tip well. They will get you free shots. They will treat you like family.
Absolutely.
And then she'll shit test you. Maybe she'll say like, "Oh, do you bring all your girls here?" And then you say, "You mean
only the
today
pretty
or
ones
this week or
Yeah.
something?"
Only
and
the
laugh
cute
and then-
ones. Yeah.
and then enjoy all the great sex and all that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it till Ray mentioned it, but it's kind of funny. My bass player and singer have owned a bar for over a decade now, and I can't tell you. They used to joke about me fucking all their bartenders because I was used to go there because I was good friends with the owners. They'd hook me up with drinks. I'd bring a girl there, and then well, next. So yeah, definitely.
I like how he laughs. Kyle's like, remember all the good times.
Back when I used to fuck all the chicks, that was great. One last thing that I want to touch on, and then we can go around the horn. A lot of guys, and this sort of goes back to the original video that we started off with. A lot of guys are going into these interactions with women, trying to make her like them, as opposed to flipping that, going, do I even like her or not? Right. And so they end up going there and they're trying to say whatever makes her happy. They try to, dance and make jokes and stuff to try to make her like them, as opposed to going there almost like with indifference, going, is this going to be over after a drink? Am I going to like her or not? Are we going to click, like a chemistry test? What do you have to add to that, Jack? I see your head moving around like you're thinking about something.
I'm kind of like, where do you want to go with this? Where it's like, so usually what I understand from what you're really asking is 9 times out of 10, a guy goes on a date. It's like, oh, what if she doesn't like me? And the real question is, what if you don't like her?
Right. Yeah. Because a lot of guys are like, oh, I think I fucked up this date. I think I messed it up with her. Like,
no. She's on parole there, where it's like, this is all a shit test for her, where it's like, do I like you enough that I want to take you home? Or do I just want to leave you there? Like, can you entertain me? Can you make me laugh? Kind of stuff. Just flip the script on all of it. All of it.
That's what I was getting on probably towards the beginning of the show when we talk about frame, and kind of my current topic I'm getting on swagger, or call it whatever you want. I'm qualifying. Say it again.
Riz is what the youth calls it, apparently.
Yeah. But I'm qualifying her. That's the bottom line. And when a guy has that mindset, I'm qualifying her. That bleeds through. She picks up on that. She sees that. And if it's the other way around, I hope I'm good enough for her. You can fake it all you want. That's going to bleed through. You have to have that swagger kind of confidence to say, maybe I like you, maybe I don't. Maybe I'm going to end this date soon because I think you're a flake, you're too much trouble, whatever the case is.
Yeah, it's a much different dating experience too when you have that mindset, because women will start saying things to try to qualify to you, and it's palpable, right? Like you can really notice it when the shoe's on the other foot and they're doing
it's like negotiating any deal. If you go into it absolutely ready to walk away, willing to walk away, practically looking for a reason to walk away, she's going to pick up on that. She's going to qualify to you. She's going to try and qualify to you.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we only have one super chat because the people are stingy today. And it's not a $30 super chat, Jack. I apologize. So you don't get to see the video.
Oh, don't worry. I love this already. He agrees with me. See?
Yes. Don't give Jack a big head on that.
More.
So I'm going to give him this.
I was just going to say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
Yeah. I'm with Jack on that. I met 2 women in their 20s, and one of them was the super SJW. I ended up gaining her respect by not agreeing with her. Yeah. That's why you don't have to lie about any of this stuff, right? Like, women actually will respect you if you are congruent and authentic, even if they don't agree with you, and there's ways of, there's some women that have, was it Trump arrangement syndrome, where they'll fucking go off on a tangent and call you a, racist, misogynist, homophobe, or whatever the fuck they call you these days. But I would say the vast majority of chicks, even if they don't agree with you politically, like, can do it cordially. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But I prefer to just not even talk about politics on a date. It's just a total, it'll dry up a vagina. So
like I said, if she mentions anything, I don't have a TV. So,
yeah.
Well, it's just tangential. I even wrote about this in Frame, the Red Invictus, where he was had a bunch of coworkers, an engineer, and one of them had like this sassy black lady, and the one guy was talking about how his traditional wife this, traditional wife that, and she was talking to her about my husband and having issues there, and the black girl just asked like, do you suck his dick? And she's like, no. Oh, she goes, well, there's your problem. You don't cook, you don't suck his dick. Next, and the other coworker had literally like the Portland chick, the all the social justice triggers that everybody says don't date women with. She had all of it, and she was fine. She would like bake bread when he got home. So it really, all these external symbols people are focused on. Who'd you vote for? What does your hair look like? Does she have a septum piercing? Oh my God, is that a tattoo? Which church denomination does she belong from? All that stuff is tangential. It's like judging your pilot who's going to be flying the plane based on like his hair color. It's like, no, how about his flight hours? That might matter more. His
Or if
flight
he's a
hours.
dude,
Yeah.
that'd be maybe.
Yeah,
Is he alcoholic?
is a female? Do we have to leave this plane right now?
Is it a diversity hire? Exactly. And then the votes.
Mhm.
You can even just end, like, I didn't say it before, but I'll end it on this one too. It's like, I make a rule. I don't talk about politics on the first date. I like to get to know somebody before I get to know Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. And sometimes you're allowed to say, just I'm not talking about. We're not there yet. And then you can just turn it into a challenge. We're not there yet. We'll get there. We'll get there to the point where we can hate each other for our political views tomorrow morning after breakfast. Because I don't do this in an empty stomach.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
But that's what I mean. A lot of guys are like, oh, you have to say this. You have to skirt around it. You have to be evasive. It's like, no, how about just no, I don't do that at all with you or anybody. And you're fine. That's honest. You know what I mean? It's like Clary. I go to Buc-ee's. Why? Because fuck you. That's why. All right, fair enough. I guess
one might call that mode 1. Just
oh yeah,
direct.
Rest in peace, man.
Direct communication. Just
the only man in the manosphere to die, and I wish he hadn't. You know, I don't know how else to put it. That's a compliment.
Right,
Trust me.
Ryan's gonna celebrate when we're all dead. Finally, I'm glad that Cappy fucker died. Thank God.
Are you nuts? I'll cry at your funeral, you son of a bitch. If you can make it here, anybody can. I need you as my canary.
When Cappy goes down, we all go down.
I don't know if the rest of you have been to Buc-ee's, but Buc-ee's is an amazing place. Like
it is.
There's singing. There's a Buc-ee's like kind of person dressed as the Buc-ee's beaver. I'm just like, this place is amazing. There's cheap souvenirs and stuff.
Brisket.
Like,
I wish Cappy would. I wish Cappy would take me to Buc-ee's on the second date, but the only thing he gave me was herpes on the first. So still waiting for Buc-ee's.
I got that blue collared shirt from there. It's like a Hawaiian shirt, and it's obviously in the other room. But yeah, I think it was like $25 or $30. I'm like, holy shit! You go anywhere else, this could be like $50-$60. I'm all about.
And
that.
so it's somebody who said, "What if I make a gas station into an everything?"
Yes,
essentially.
Yes.
The Buc-ee's in Athens, Alabama, had a full-on country concert. It was amazing.
Jesus.
Oh my!
I was
gas
thinking the
station
Pro
with a
Bass
fucking
Shops Temple in
concert.
Memphis was like my mecca, but it might just be a random Buc-ee's in Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I
They're
just
building
thought
a
there
new
was
one too here.
there was a dude who jumped into a Bass Pro shop with a micro penis. I don't know why. I just thought of that right off the top of my head. It was a video going around Twitter about a year or two ago. It's pretty funny.
all right, and Kyle's off the panel. Let's go around the horn and wrap this up. We'll start down at the bottom with Nuke. Nuke, final thoughts, and where can people find you online, man?
Yeah, just remember, stop focusing on politics. Be hot, and everything. Most things will fix themselves. Be charming. You will get cornered from time to time on a date, and just fail to the center and say, and if she keeps digging, she's probably not that into you and all that stuff. Keep your cool, keep your composure. Women don't really care about this stuff as much as they say. And follow the Substack. I'll put the link in the chat.
All right. Ray, final thoughts, and where can people find you?
I'm with Nuke on that, and I'll add that women just want to have a good time. It matters at the end. The only thing that matters at the end is how did you make her feel? And if you make her laugh and avoid serious topics, it's just going to go better. I'm Graybeard Actual, Instagram, TikTok, Substack, and yeah, that's it.
All right. And you said you have a book that you're working on. When do you think that's going to be ready?
The writing itself will be done in a couple of weeks. The process after that, this is my first time. We'll see how that goes. You tell me, from the completion of writing to getting it out. I don't know.
To me, the hardest part is formatting
Yeah.
for upload to KDP. That's the hardest part. Fucking Word. Right, Cappy? Can't even put page numbers in there. Let's go to Kyle. Start over to Kyle. Final thoughts and where can people find you online?
Don't take anything too seriously. Be charming. Make people laugh. Have a drink. Yeah, Common Crown, Komatovic. That's spelled Matovcik. If you're in the southwestern Pennsylvania area, we play around here a whole bunch, and we're gonna have new music out hopefully before the end of the year, going back into record at the end of the month. And if you like political stuff or all about getting jacked and tan, listen to my podcast. And this week I have Jose Nino and Dave Green coming on. So yeah, that's all for me.
Oh, nice. Jose is back.
Yes.
Good guy.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, dude.
Ryan Stone.
What can I say? It's my leaving the manosphere is kicking some ass right now. Dogwalker selling like hotcakes still. It's past. It's actually great in that it's past the point because you always see who else bought the book, and it's always like the same guys: Rational Mail, Clary's IQ, and those ones. But now I'm starting to see like fiction books from people I've never heard of before, and so it's starting to reach a new audience, which is awesome. And I would just say if you haven't gotten it, it's probably the best contemporary fiction that's been written by men and for men in the last 20 years. And I'm not saying that because I'm bragging. I'm saying that because just nobody's done it. It's the first of what hasn't happened yet. You can enjoy it just on a surface level, just like it's kind of like Fuck Files. It's like an enjoyable read there. But if you actually read it, since it is fiction, there is a character arc. There is like a moral message in there. There is a story. There's almost like a mystery you have to unplug and understand the symbols and that. So it's whatever level of resolution you want to read at, and it's just doing great. And beyond that, you really should get on the Substack because every Tuesday I have field reports and case studies. So if you still like the red pill stuff, that's fine. Here's examples of guys that have done everything that you've read in all of our books and watch them try to implement it. And so we can kind of it's like game footage. Yeah, everybody knows what frame is, but here's some examples where a guy lost frame. Here's examples where he never had it. Here's examples where you can fix it. And then the rest of the time, it's mostly updates on the new book. Its working title is Jake Long in Softbone. It's a cyberpunk book. It's going to be awesome. I like just think of all the crap that we've had with DEI and feminine crap in the last 10 years. Add like 10% more craziness to it. And like that's the setting that the guy Jake Long is in and has to deal with. It's pretty nice. I think you'll enjoy it. It's definitely going to be fun. And then when that book comes out, you'll get that one too. And I'm going to do crisscross between contemporary fiction and cyberpunk. And I promise I will not waste your time spending 50 pages talking about the setting or the world building or like the details of what kind of revolver I invented in my head. I don't want to waste your fucking time like that. It's just going to be something you can enjoy. Yeah, the tax system. Fuck you, Martin. You Game of Thrones motherfucker. All right, I'm done. That's it.
Winds of Winter when? So, okay, on all of this, keep it fun, keep it lighthearted, and don't focus too much on the colored hair, the septum piercings, the tattoos, whatever. It's very simple. I've had women with tattoos treat me like a king, and I've had women without tattoos who make me figuratively want to put a noose around my fucking neck. You don't know what you don't know. People can hide who they are for the first, like, I don't know how many months. Like, you'll find that maybe if she has a tattoo or 2 or 3, she can be a great gal, and you can find out that women without and, like, normal hair color are the absolute worst, and vice versa. All you have is her behavior, and go from there. And for the love of God, avoid the politics. For me, new essay on the Substack was released this morning. So far, it's doing well. I'm getting a lot of compliments on it. The sexualization of brotherhood. Ryan was just talking fiction, and the modern media and fiction is kind of, well, you know, not as positive about male brotherhood as it used to be. And I wrote an essay about that, how that came to be, why it still is a thing, and, you know, what can you do about it? So please go check out my Substack in the chat.
All right.
And that's it.
Cappy.
I'm sorry I gave Jack herpes.
Finally. That's all I wanted to hear.
Never forget that when you go out dating, that women are half the formula. There are 2 people involved. And they also have to like you, and it's do your thing, be charming, be charismatic, and then just assess very quick. This girl even like me or not? Am I having fun? Is this a pain in the, is this a chore? And if it is, walk away, call it an end. I think going forward, men should be reminded and taking a more like, no, there's an onus on women. What is their action and behavior like? And if they're hitting you in the back of the back of your hand and your chest, and you're giggling and flirting, and there's some sexual innuendo, that is the only thing that is acceptable in a dating kind of thing. If it's her complaining about work or anything else or God, that's a pain in the ass. And no, I'd be leaving at that moment in time. Do not worry about politics, especially if you're just looking to fuck, which every guy is right off the bat. That only comes into play if they are serious about it and you are looking to commit to them in the long term. Then you may want to consider whether or not they're a socialist or not. As for what I got going on, newest book is called Zero World Problems. If you're looking for something to do to measurably improve your standards of living in life that does not have anything to do with money or working more, there you go. Nearly everyone except Jack has a copy, apparently, because I didn't send one to Jack. I'm sorry. And
No, you're not.
I'm sure they will all do reviews of the book and complain about it not. Only Paul. Paul has pointed out that there is no Corey Wayne in my book. And yes, only every other page is numbered. So that is available on Amazon, Zero World Problems.
What chapter am I in, Cappy? You said I was in here.
You're in
you're near the end, Nuke. That's another thing I hate about Cappy's book. He fucking mentions Nuke in the book, but no one else on the panel. Fuck
Hell
that guy.
yeah.
Anyway,
and he bought me a whiskey and a cigar, Paul. Are you jealous?
Oh, and the audiobook still isn't out.
Right.
Could have been out.
Could have been out, you guys.
We have a super chat here from My Truth, $2 super chat. It says, that's right. Bass Pro Shop sucks. Cabela's is the shit. Aren't they the same company though?
Cabela's.
Yeah, they're the same
Bass
company.
Pro just bought Cabela's.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this.
There's an epidemic of gold digging whores in this country.
There is. So my last thoughts on this is, politics don't matter. Try to keep things upbeat when you're on a date. A lot of this type of stuff, I really wish I knew when I was 18, when I was out dating. And I wrote a whole book about that a couple of years ago. I drop a link to that in the chat. It's called Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18. And it talks about dating and how to be effective in the dating circuit. Oh, crap. Another super chat here. We got Alex Patino, $5, says, respect the cock team. Oh, yeah. Okay. He needs this.
Respect the cock and tame the cunt.
Yes, indeed. All right. So, yeah, keep things upbeat and fun. Where is he at? I saw him in the chat here. Thor's in the chat. RP Thor, he says, I think he says, after Rule Zero, come check out the Dragon Ship to continue the conversation. Yes, indeed. I believe Glenn Lawrence is hosting. He's going to talk about how red pill is fuel. I don't know where he's going to go with that, but check that out. And speaking of Thor wrote another book. I helped him with the formatting on it because, Thor's going through some stuff. He's having a hard time. So I helped him with the formatting on it. And then Huds and Glenn Lawrence got together and helped with the book design. And I'm going to get with Glenn after Dragon Ship, and we're going to help Thor get that uploaded. But the book is called The Superhero Inside, and it is a really goddamn good book. You guys are really going to enjoy it. It's all about developing this internal character that you can call on when you're not feeling so confident. You don't feel like you have that dominant masculine presence. You can take on this internal persona of a superhero inside and start acting as if, basically. It's a pretty good book. He brings a lot of stuff from Nietzsche in there. You guys will love it. Other than that, I think that's all we got. We will see you guys next. Oh, tune into the podcast on Monday. I found that people are putting out videos again about how red pill is ruining marriages and ruining relationships. And so I wanted to do an episode on that. There's a really good old married red pill post from Archwinger that talks about how red pill exists because men aren't happy. So we're going to talk about that on Monday. But until then, we'll see you guys next week on Rule Zero.
This has been Rule Zero. New episodes every Saturday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Subscribe now.